talking to me? You talking to me?
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
What an idiot!
Well, what do you expect? I'm the movie moron.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Don't call me stupid.
Oh, right! To call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people! I've known sheep that could outwit you.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
No, none taken.
That is right. None taken. I am the movie moron himself. And this is the Movie Moron podcast.
Woo!
And
Yeah!
we are recording this on Sunday afternoon. And so, all mothers, we wish you a very happy Mother's Day.
I really thought you were going to say a very Merry Christmas.
And a very Merry Christmas. I mean, we don't want to cut corners. We don't know when you're listening to this. So
That's
if you're
true.
listening to this on Christmas, Merry Christmas. Also, I don't know why you're listening to this on Christmas, but thank you.
It's a little late to the party.
But yes, I am your host, Easton, and with us, as always, is the practical co-host himself, Trevor Landreth. Oh yeah, I didn't even do any of
I was going to
this.
say, that's what I was waiting
I'm
on.
going crazy.
Yeah, he's got some sound.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me
Miles
Davis.
Davis.
Oh, that was the grossest thing I've ever heard in my life. Let's go.
And then sitting
Fabulous.
next to him is a longtime friend of mine and semi-listener of the podcast and huge movie watcher.
Way to call him out. Jeez.
But apparently a lot bigger of a movie guy than I realized, as he's now an AMC A-lister and texting me all the time about all the new movies. So we have a lot of discourse. So I said, why not just come on the podcast? Austin Lockwood.
Years later, a doctor will tell me that I have an IQ of 48 and am what some people call mentally retarded.
Wow.
I expected no less.
Yeah, old high school friend. I can't go easy on him on the first time.
Rude.
But for all of you waiting for what I was gonna play for myself,
Why aren't you on a diet?
Because I like to eat. Is that such a crime?
no, it's not. I love food, and we're about to go eat Old Chicago after this. So,
Woo!
Old Chicago, get on that sponsorship. We'll
I was going to say, yeah.
AMC and Old Chicago would be our ideal sponsorships.
That would be
We don't even need money, just free pretzel bites.
Just free pretzel bites, free movie tickets, free drinks so we can get plastered in your movie theater.
Ugh.
And then come home and record a podcast plastered. That's great. It's exactly the content everyone wants.
What? Who does that? Not me.
Yeah, 12:30 in the morning is when you watch this movie.
It is. I did. But I will say I did stay awake the entire time.
Good.
Because I had a full meal and an energy drink before I went in to watch it.
Nice. Okay, well, Austin, this is your first time on the podcast, so we have to do our normal first guest
Interrogation.
Litmus, yeah, I was going to say litmus test, but interrogation is probably a better word for it. So there you go. Thank you, practical co-host, for helping me out there.
Litmus test is like to determine if someone's a good person or not, isn't it? Or determine if someone's an AI?
Exactly.
Oh.
So, what are some of your favorite movies? And then give us some of your least favorite movies so our audience knows if they should agree with your opinions on this movie.
So I'd say my top favorites would definitely be The Godfather.
Woo!
And 1 and 2, of course.
Boo.
And,
Listen, it's 2-1 now. You're in the
I'm used to being in the minority as a straight white male. That was a meme.
Spicy
That
today.
was a meme, guys. Don't worry, okay?
But aside from that, God, there's just so many. Like I want to say Star Wars, but just the whole thing. If it's anything Star Wars,
the universe in general.
Yeah.
It's just all of that content's great. We became good friends in high school. One, we played football together, but I think our love for Star Wars was
that's
probably
what really kicked it off.
Yeah, that's what we connected with because I mean we had 100 teammates and all those guys were lame because they were like, "Ooh, Star Wars is nerdy," and then we're like, "Hell yeah, it's nerdy and amazing," and so that's why we started hanging out and then we played video games and shit together. But okay, so Star Wars and
then a newer
Godfather.
one would probably be Drive My Car.
Yes.
Definitely like one of the best indie films that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, he got real mad at my 3.5 review.
It was exciting.
Yeah, like I will get into a fight over Drive My Car and The Godfather.
Yeah.
We also got into a fight over Gone with the Wind, if I'm remembering correctly.
Twitter beef.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, that is a whole different beast.
Yeah.
I'd say, talking about least favorite films, Gone with the Wind, most overrated.
And that's because of the historical context, right?
It's also a bad film.
I don't like Gone with the Wind, so I'm with you on that.
Like,
I've only watched it once. I fell asleep. It was so boring, and woke up and like maybe I missed something important. But as a romance fan myself, I did not buy any of it, and did not like.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind is a perfect example of how far we have come in terms of the cinema movie industry. That was the biggest movie in the history of film, like relative to its time.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Now I'm in the minority.
Good. But we're all Casablanca fans?
Woo!
Haven't seen it.
That's a great old romance.
It is.
That's the good one.
That's the one.
Yeah, I have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to the older films.
It's got
That's
HBO
okay.
Max. That's where it's at, man. And it's got like you're gonna hear so many quotes that you've heard throughout your life and be like, oh, that's where this comes from.
Yeah, and it's just such a sly movie. I've
Humphrey
never
Bogart's just a man.
I've never made this connection, but I wonder if like James Bond is kind of
based off that a little bit.
Yeah, he's got that like just slyness and
that kind of like devil may care kind of attitude. Yeah, I would say, and the white suit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I want to rewatch Casablanca, so I haven't seen it in a few years.
Maybe
but
that's what. Oh, we could watch it tomorrow
as Movie Monday.
For Movie Monday,
Maybe. Oh yeah, all you listening, I've been doing Movie Monday where I watch anywhere from 3 to 4 movies on Monday, and I encourage you to.
Good God.
It's great. Although I know a lot of you guys work on Mondays. I fortunately have Mondays off so that I can work 4 10-hour days, Tuesday through Friday. But watch a movie on Monday. It's a cool little slogan. So watch Movie Monday with us. We've been going through the Studio Ghibli movies.
Mm-hmm. The last one we saw was the one with the cat. And
oh yeah, The Cat Return.
What?
No, The Cat Returns is the second one. It's
like
Whisper in the Heart.
Whisper of the Heart.
Yeah, Whisper of the
That
Heart.
was the last one we saw. We saw Ponyo before that.
What?
Every time Studio Ghibli films are brought up, it just reminds me how little I know about them.
Oh, well, we're going through all of them, and I showed him like what I first watched, which was Howl's Moving Castle, and then we're watching
which was
some
fantastic.
Yeah, now we're watching some of the like I've seen them all, so I'm watching kind of like the smaller, like not smaller ones because there's like some really small Studio Ghibli stuff, but the stuff that's like I think there's 2 tiers of Studio Ghibli, and so we're kind of watching that second tier right now,
so
that we can end on like the great stuff.
Yeah,
which you actually watched Spirit Away. No, Princess Mononoke in theaters because it was just there, and so he watched
in Japanese, which was cool.
So he watched like the best of the best in theaters, which I unfortunately wasn't able to do, which I was a little pissed off about. But
I guess I can at least say that like I can differentiate between like the great ones, like Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and Princess Mononoke. Like if you show me a shot from one of those films, I could tell what it is.
Yeah,
I can at least say I know that much.
Well,
gotcha.
and like
so you're saying you need to watch some more Studio Ghibli?
Yeah, like Ponyo, the Kiki's Delivery Service or whatever it's called. Isn't that Ghibli? I can't remember.
It is, but you can skip that one. I'll get hate for that.
I like Kiki's Delivery Service.
I always heard good things about it.
Yeah,
that's
but
fun.
The girl's cute. What more do you want?
well, she's also like 12, Austin. Let's be a little.
Well, he's like, well, I saw it when I was first 12, so at the time it was fine.
Fair enough. Yeah, but I think like Howl's Moving Castle, those 3 that you said, but then there's also like my favorite is Porco Rosso. Anyways, this is Studio Ghibli review. Not
we're
the movie.
derailing.
Yeah, we've already talked about anime for about 20 minutes before we started rolling. So, yeah, that's kind of Austin's. What did you say your least favorite was? I guess you just said Gone with the Wind. Give me another one. Just movie that you hate.
I mean, we went and saw
Memoria. I know you can't count that one though.
It's so if anybody wants to watch a movie where you can just take a nap through it and feel like you've watched the entire thing, look up Memoria. It's the perfect film to fall asleep to because I almost did 10 times.
I really hope that Tallgrass Film Festival is not listening to this. We thank you for the opportunity of watching the movie.
Do not get me wrong.
And
independent movie theaters, I do not blame you for the films that you have to push out.
Not have to. They decide to, but I know what you mean. Yeah. We thank you for the opportunity. This one just fell flat for Austin and kind of me, but Trevor really liked it. So
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And they gave us cool little film things.
They did do that. That was pretty dope.
But in terms of like films that I didn't just see today,
my man.
I don't know. There's usually not too many. What?
You got to put that mic to your mouth.
It's weird because usually I only go to a movie if I think I'm gonna like it.
Oh, okay.
I don't take a lot of shots in the dark.
Gotcha. Yeah. Which is that's me embodied. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna go, and if I get a shit on it, then I'm gonna shit on it. But like more than like, I enjoy 80% of the movies I watch. So
you know what? Wonder Woman 84 or whatever. How it's called.
That's fair.
There you go. Good. Okay. That's a good take.
There we go.
We stand against Wonder Woman 84 because it was so bad, and I love Pedro, and that was such a bad movie.
I love Gal.
But thank you, for real, and thank you so much for Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent for bringing us back. Pedro Pascal. I know he's in The Mandalorian. He's great in that, and he's okay in The Prospect, whatever that one was called. But he was fantastic.
Easily his best role he's ever done, and I loved The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think did I text that to you, or did I tweet it? And you were like, you watched it and you're like, that is, it was in my review.
I think so.
You text me and you were like, 100% agree.
Yeah.
That's his best movie. And I was like, thank you. It is. Anyways, okay. So the movie we're doing for this week, 20 minutes into the podcast, is Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. Good. I got it on the first try. Go me. So yeah, this is the, 78th Marvel movie of the year.
Something like that.
No, I think it's like 30. It's in the 30s of Marvel movies chronologically. Doctor Strange is technically only second movie, even though he's been in like the last 8.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of the way Marvel movies go now. Everyone's in all of them, and everyone loves Benedict Cumberbatch right now. So I think they're just trying to capitalize on his like love.
Yeah.
And so he's in like everything right now. But so yeah, we're gonna be reviewing that. So we'll just go into no spoilers. So if you guys haven't watched it yet, we're not going to spoil anything at first, and then we'll go into spoilers a little bit later. So just general thoughts, things you liked about the movie, if you thought it was good, bad, mediocre, and yeah, things you liked without actually getting into the plot of it. Any of you two can go first.
Well, just to clarify things, so I already know how Easton feels about Marvel movies.
I was gonna say, yeah. Where do you stand on the Marvel machine?
I am not a fanboy by any means, but I have seen like most of them. Liking them is not the same as being a fanboy. Okay.
No, I agree.
But
he will at least critique them.
Like I try to be extremely fair with Marvel movies. Like he didn't like Shang-Chi. I thought it was exactly what I would want from a Shang-Chi film. So like, I don't know. To me, most Marvel films are objectively okay, and to me, that's
there's a formula that they're good at following.
That's all I need from a film. Is like, it's not like I'm going to be spending 10 hours watching these Marvel films.
Right.
Like, it's not a huge investment.
Yeah.
So I'm not that upset if it's just okay.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't get tired of them too much because, to me, like a 6-month gap between films, like that's a long time for me because I have a short attention span.
Is it 6 months?
Yeah, they were before.
It's something like that.
Pre-COVID, they were pumping out 2 a year.
It really feels like every 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
well,
it
now
could be
with like all the
because
TV shows and stuff.
Yeah,
I did tweet that out. I tweeted out that it does feel like
the Marvel talk never stops.
Yeah, because the TV shows, because they're coming out with a TV show, like there's maybe a month between when one series ends to another one starts, and so like, and the episodes drop every week, and so like everyone on Twitter is always talking about, and I do kind of live on Twitter, even though I don't tweet a lot. I'm on it a lot because I like hearing news. I like hearing what people talk about. Unless it's Marvel 24/7. Like, I don't mind Marvel talk. Like, I used to like it quite a bit because it was just like when a movie was about to come up, there'd be a lot of hype, and then people would, like, generally people would like it, and there would usually be a discourse on, like my favorite Marvel discussion was always the Civil War. Yeah. Team Cap versus Team Iron Man. Even though if you're Team Iron Man, I think you're insane. But
okay,
whatever. That's fine.
Are you guys both Team Iron Man?
I'm Team
Iron Man. How can you possibly be Team Cap?
For sure.
You know what's funny? I was reading a tweet that had 256,000 likes or whatever that said, if you're Team Cap, I don't understand you or whatever. Yeah. And then in the replies, it literally said, are you serious? Not even Team Iron Man stayed Team Iron Man. Not a single Marvel character continued to be Team Iron Man after that movie. They all turned Team Cap.
Yeah, and it's called being wrong.
None of them allowed the government to restrict what they were doing because they realized that they couldn't function if the government was trying to control them, and that more people would die if they allowed the government to say whether or not they could go in and save people's lives.
I just like Tony Stark.
That's basically it.
I like Iron Man better than Captain America.
So there's no moral reason. It's just Tony Stark's
the day I stand on
awesome.
moral reason is the day I die.
Oh, well, that's all I stand on. Now, I like Iron Man and I like Cap. Cap has always been my favorite Marvel character in general. Maybe that's my patriotism.
You got some golden retriever energy, don't you?
A little bit. But I have always, like, Iron Man's what started Marvel. I mean, that first Iron Man movie was fantastic, and I loved his whole arc throughout that. And I like his arc through all of the movies, but I just feel like we need to get back on track. The whole point I even brought this stuff up was to ask Trevor, like, do you consider yourself, like, if not a fan, but you enjoy at least some Marvel movies?
Me?
Yeah.
I used to be a fan, but since Endgame, I've dropped off the bus a little bit. There are a couple shining spots. Shang-Chi, and then this one.
He shat all over No Way Home, just to let you know.
Well, I'm just gonna block that part out. I mean, I'm willing to see again. I'm willing to admit that, like, a huge part of why I like No Way Home is it just has Tobey Parker and
Tobey Maguire.
And
I know that Peter Parker and Tobey Maguire are basically the same person now, but
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
It's literally like that's who he is to me now. He's Spider-Man.
That's
Peter
right.
Parker.
Yeah.
But, like, that's at least 80% of why I love that film.
Yeah.
But see, I'm not afraid to just admit that.
Yeah. That's good. I appreciate that. Now we don't have to fight.
Well, just in case I wasn't clear, or if you haven't read all of my tweets over the past 2 years, I am not a Marvel fanboy at all, and I absolutely or a standboy. I absolutely hate Marvel fanboys because I really like the franchise, but people can't take any criticism, or they think everything that comes out is just fantastic no matter what. The only exceptions of that have been Black Widow. No, sorry, we'll start from the beginning. Thor 2, Iron Man 3, Black Widow, and Eternals. Those are the only movies that Marvel fanboys will say are bad movies, and they think all the other ones are gold. And every single one every time one comes out, they're like praising it as the best movie of the year, and like they say it's the greatest thing ever, all because it shows two people from a different universe that you wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I cannot stand it. A movie should not be loved because of its random cameos.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that kind of got me off board with it was when the TV shows came out, Loki and WandaVision, which I watched. I watched WandaVision, Loki, and Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I watched all of those ones as they came out.
You watched What If too, right?
I watched What If. But what was making me upset was on Letterboxd, before the show would even start, or when episode 1 would happen, 5 stars, no matter what. And people's reasoning, like for Loki, was Tom Hiddleston is a hot guy. And like, that's why. And so that's the stuff that kind of got me turned off to it.
Yeah.
I think
it's also just
that's actually what makes it easier for me Because one of the things that like really turned me off of Star Wars for a little while with the sequel films was because once the sequel films came out, I would spend like months in Star Wars communities arguing with people and watching, like seeing all these people who just clearly didn't see what I was seeing. And it made me like hate Star Wars.
Star Wars is the exact opposite of Marvel. Star Wars is the most like toxic fan base in the world, as in everyone has like their very distinct opinions, and if you don't think that way, you are wrong. But there's a bunch of different opinions. Marvel is the worst fan base because they have such a large amount of people that don't watch anything but Marvel, and so they think everything that comes out is the greatest thing in movie history, or they're like, oh, this is the greatest movie in the world because it's the best Marvel movie. And that's what, like, there's two different types of fan bases. Like, Star Wars is like, I love Star Wars. I like having discussions about Star Wars because I think it's a lot of fun. I like discourse. I like having arguments. One reason why I started the podcast, I like talking about movies and stuff. So I don't mind that Star Wars thing. But like Marvel's a completely different, where like you have to think this way, and if you don't, you're like hated on for.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm talking about though, is like I like discourse, but there's a difference between discourse and a flame war.
Yeah.
And I actually think Star Wars is a lot like that, where if you don't like the sequels, there is a huge faction of Star Wars fans that think that you are just the biggest idiot.
Dumb. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like they're the most toxic fan base. And there's like three distinct fans. There's the sequel fans, there's the OT fans, and there's the prequel fans. And they all fight each other. And then there's like a small group of people that are like, I just like Star Wars and I like them all. They're all good. And like, that's not me either. I'm a 6 movies. I like the 6 movies, and I like some of the new projects, but I don't like all of them.
Yeah.
But
again,
they are super toxic.
Yeah, but my point was that I like that whole stuff pushed me away from the Star Wars stuff for a while until Mandalorian came out, and I was able to like just dive into it again. But with Marvel, I don't really notice any of this like this hate like for like people shitting on the Multiverse of Madness, what we're supposed to be talking about. Like, I don't follow those communities, so I don't see people talking about it 24/7.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot easier for me to watch a movie, go like 4 months, not have to look at a single thing about Marvel, go to the next show or movie, and I get to just enjoy that. And I don't have it just shoved in my face as much as I did with Star Wars and the sequels when I was in that whole thing.
Yeah. I love so much that on Twitter I didn't see a single tweet that was like, the MCU is back on course, we're on the right direction.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't see anything. What I did see though was people were like, Sam Raimi is the GOAT.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
And I was like,
loved that.
Fuck no, because I'm sorry, I didn't like that because this didn't feel that much different than every other Marvel movie. So Sam Raimi didn't bring that much to the table.
Yeah, it was not a revolutionary.
And you can say the movie is decent, but like just because.
Okay, let's talk about general thoughts then.
We are.
Oh, are we?
I guess we are now.
I never felt like we actually got to that threshold.
General thoughts.
Anyway,
yeah.
Here we go. No, I thought yes, I agree with you that it is. I felt like this is like a sphere, right? This movie is a sphere, and the like outer surface of the sphere is the MCU. It's the Marvel studio that's like, we have to see these characters. They have to do this thing. We have to be at this point by the show. By the time the movie ends, this thing has to happen. But then Sam Raimi is inside, and he's like punching the surface. And then every once in a while, he'll punch a hole in it, and we'll see one thing that happens that is not like a Marvel trope. And then that hole gets fixed right back up, and then we're back to the nice little MCU thing, and then another punch happens, and then we get to see another Sam Raimi thing, and then it gets patched back up again, and then we keep on going. So yes, this movie is a fairly mid Marvel movie, just like the rest of them so far, but it's those little nuggets of the Sam Raimi that's in it that I really enjoyed.
I think I know specific instances of what you're talking about.
Exactly.
But I think we're going to disagree on specifically like if those things are good or not.
Okay, that's fine.
That's my problem. It's like, okay, there's a few things that make it a little bit different, but like that's like saying, like Taika
Waititi.
He has specific things in his Marvel movies that make the thing feel like his movie. That doesn't mean that it's a good movie. That just means that he has things that are outside of the like corporate produced movie, like Black Widow and Eternals. And well, Eternals had a lot of stuff that was very Chloe, so I don't want to group that into it. Whether you like the movie or not.
Very Zack Snyder.
No, I mean Chloe because I stand Chloe, and how dare you?
Who's Chloe?
She
I haven't
said
seen
in an
Eternals.
interview that she took Eric Icarus's design off of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Yeah, so
Who's Chloe?
Chloe Zhao.
she's the director. She's directed a few movies that I enjoy. I can look it up here in a moment, but yeah, I just don't think that means it's good. And I also think
fair.
Like Marvel has stated they don't have a direction right now.
No.
For the first 3 phases of Marvel, they had a direction.
Yes.
Right now, they don't. They're trying to fix that, but they don't have a direction. And so a lot of that stuff where it feels like Sam Raimi punching out of this sphere, I think may just be they aren't going to limit what Sam Raimi does because there isn't a clear... Like
I think they did limit on some stuff.
You can fuck up Scarlet Witch's character because
you're not going anywhere with it.
I don't want to spoil too much on that, but like you can do whatever you want with this character because we don't have a vision for it. So like we can write our vision off of what you do. So he had the most freedom of maybe any Marvel movie ever and still made a mid movie. That right there tells you exactly how amazing Sam Raimi is. I'm sorry. I like Star Wars, Spider-Man 1 and 2, but
I think we'll talk about more in spoilers. The big thing. There's obviously spoilers in this movie regarding actors, which we all, I mean, you guys nod your heads or something if you know what the scene I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. That's not him.
I hated that.
That's
scene,
the
to be honest.
Marvelness of it. That's the stuff I didn't care for. What I did like was the tilted camera angles. I like the creepiness of things that were happening. I liked other stuff about that.
What I will have to say is I do think Sam Raimi tried to make the movie a little bit like harder than Marvel is used to, and Marvel pulled it back. So I don't want to blame Raimi. I'm not blaming Raimi for everything. I do still think Marvel is the reason why Marvel does not make great movies. They make good movies.
Yes.
But they will never make a great movie because
they have to keep it contained within, like it can't
Exactly.
stray too far away.
Yes. So I don't want to blame Raimi in general. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to say is everyone is metaphorically S-ing his D, and I don't think that's a good thing because like he didn't bring this this masterpiece of a movie and directing into the Marvel universe. He just like had his own little touch to the same formula.
Like he didn't even make a top 5 Marvel movie, in my opinion.
I don't think so either.
I think he did.
We'll do a Marvel ranking at the very end.
Yeah.
How about that?
I would love to do that if I had my phone, which is being used for your camera.
I will turn the computer around and have all the Marvel movies showing up for everyone.
But I have my ranking on my letterbox.
Well, then I can. Is it on your?
I'm just being dumb. we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
But one other thing that's like a general thing, and it's kind of about how like Raimi's style and how it's so different from all like the Marvel formula. This is the first movie that really made me feel like a grandpa when it came to the age rating of this film.
Yeah.
Like I was alarmed at some of the stuff that they were showing in this Marvel movie.
Really?
Like, because I was not expecting it at all.
Sure.
Like, I don't follow directors, so I don't know specific styles or what to look for.
He did the Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Never saw him.
Okay, but those are
still,
horror
yeah.
movies.
Yeah, so it makes more sense now. But like, there were some of those things I didn't understand how that was supposed to be a PG-13 film.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you? What?
Because there's
some of these scenes. Are
really
you kidding me?
Stuff, yeah.
If I was a kid, I would have been traumatized.
No, this is easily PG-13.
No, it's
easily.
No, don't.
We'll get into specifics because
we can argue then about like what the rating system should qualify as maybe there needs to be like a rated M movie category now because
we need to go. The games have been doing it right. We need to switch to E, T, and M. As far as like characters go, I wasn't like. I mean, the only one I like Doctor Strange and I like Benedict Cumberbatch, so I thought he was fine, and I don't necessarily. I mean, we Easton kind of alluded to it. I didn't totally care for the direction they went with Scarlet Witch. Did we all see Wanda Vision?
Yes.
Did we all see
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I didn't watch much of the other TV shows, but I did see WandaVision.
Well, WandaVision. I was really hoping they were going to put more what if stuff in this, and then they didn't. Because if there's
seems
one
like
thing
such
Marvel is good at,
that's such a missed opportunity. I haven't even seen What Ifs, but even I could tell it's like
yeah, for real.
they like come on.
Well, and I thought that's what they were doing. Well, it was supposed to be WandaVision in the original timeline. WandaVision was supposed to release, and then it was like the last episode we released, and then 2 weeks later, Doctor Strange will come out, and then COVID happened, and so that was all blown to crap. But then What If happened, and What If, which is a multiverse premise, and then having this.
I mean, hell, we have like 3 different series that deal with multiverse stuff.
Yeah, for real.
And so there was this huge opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll continue that more later on.
Yeah. Music was fine. I mean, it's Marvel music. I didn't look up the composer.
No, I didn't think
It's
it was
not
anything-
John
Wasn't
Williams. so who
nearly as
cares?
good as
Yeah.
Michael Giacchino.
Yeah. I do. It is a little bit of a horror movie, but it's not like everyone was telling me like be prepped for horror. And it's really only the last part. And even then it's not really that insanely horror.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'd call it horror. It's more just gross.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
it's a
gross
little.
parts.
I like the word you use, traumatizing, but it's a little disturbing. That's what it is. There's a little disturbing stuff toward the end. But no, I actually went in very skeptical. The first half hour, some of the dialogue and the way it was delivered, and then some of the stuff that was happening, I was kind of rolling my eyes and like, okay, like, what is this? But then I actually did get more into it as it went. I was pleasantly surprised with this. I thought it was going to be, I was excited for it, but like in my heart of hearts, I knew, and in the deck of the cards, or the heart of the cards, I knew it was going to be, I thought it was going to be not great, but I ultimately enjoyed my time.
And you were surprised?
Yeah, I was. Heck, you know what? I would go see it again.
I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
Yeah.
But that, like, I would have to have somebody like say, "Hey, let's go watch this movie." I would not volunteer to. Like,
I think I would, yeah, and I think I would go just to like be a little more relaxed and not quite have like critic mind on, I guess.
I can't turn that off sometimes now.
Yeah.
And that's probably a detriment to some movies, like bad movies, where you're just critiquing all the bad stuff in
Yeah.
it, like this.
that is literally what ruined The Last Jedi for me.
Oh, really?
Straight up.
It's so hard to watch The Jedi without critiquing so much of it because you can't shut off your brain because there's stuff that's so atrocious in that movie.
And that was the thing is, the first time I watched that movie, we'll keep it quick, but I loved The Last Jedi the first time I watched it because I was so like blinded by like just like Luke being back and all that stuff, like all these epic set pieces and things. But as soon as I saw it a second time and I was calmed down, it all fell apart.
Oh,
It was
no.
so depressing.
That's funny because the first time I watched Last Jedi was the only time I walked out from watching a Star Wars movie and was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then as I watched it again, I was talking myself into liking it because it was Star Wars. Like, okay, but these are really cool things. And then I was like, my actual brain started thinking about the Star Wars universe and all that it was like implying and everything. I was like, and then I was like, okay, I talked myself into liking this. This, like, there's so much bad in this. There's some good. There is some good. Like, there's some of the best scenes in Star Wars are in that movie. But also, well, Rise of Skywalker did come out, so that has all of the worst scenes in Star Wars. But The Last Jedi has some of the worst scenes in Star Wars as well, and some of the biggest plot, like the worst plot points in all of Star Wars as well. So anyways, Yeah, that's the last of that. But yeah, I don't know how watching this again would. I don't know if it'll make it better or worse. I assume it'd make it worse, in my opinion.
I think that's
for me.
That's kind of why I don't really want to watch it like by myself, because I don't get the feeling that I'll like gain anything extra from watching this one. Like, there's a lot of films where I feel like if I go and watch it again, like I'll gain something like that I didn't notice before.
Sure.
But I didn't. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff, so I could have missed something.
Yeah. Well, and Marvel movies are purely entertainment. That's all they are. You go and they're just entertaining to watch, and that's why I would want to go see it again. Is because I would want to go because I thought some stuff was cool, and I would like to just turn my brain off and just watch this and just enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think that I just had no expectations for this film to begin with. Ever since Endgame, the only film that I had any expectations for in this universe was Spider-Man: No Way Home. Did not care at all about any of the other stuff. If they were good, it was just gravy.
Yeah. I had Trevor telling me that he was super excited for this movie, so that made me less excited for it. And then I also saw all of Twitter saying that this was like the best movie since No Way Home, even though it's the next movie since No Way Home in the Marvel universe. And it's still, it did not meet I don't know. I don't even know if it met my low expectations. We'll put it that way.
Well,
it may have met my low expectations, but
I feel like for you, it's more a combination. Like, it was based around this, like, content that you already didn't really like enjoy with WandaVision and stuff.
I liked WandaVision.
Oh, I thought you didn't like it very much.
No, I did like WandaVision because I thought it was a cool. That was a different, like, idea, I guess.
I guess it was like one of the more unique ones.
Yeah, and so it got it dragged a little bit, but I still did enjoy it. It was more just the Doctor Strange has just been in too much, and just like Spider-Man, Tom Holland had just been in too much, in too many movies. Like, he's always like, in all the Infinity War and Endgame and Civil War, he was always like, even though he's one of a second or third or fourth character, like, everyone's just there for, like,
because he's awesome.
I guess. Tristan's not joining us for the podcast, but she did want me to say that thing that she noticed was every single, like, when Wanda showed up, the whole theater was like, oh, Wanda's here. Oh, that's Wanda. Oh, that's Wanda. And, like,
they were surprised?
Yes. Yes.
She's on the poster.
I know.
She's literally on the poster.
I don't
like,
know if
the main person.
She's in like every promotional piece.
I know. I don't know if they were surprised or if they were just excited because they all watched WandaVision. They like wanted to feel like they knew something. Like,
right.
Oh yeah, I'm a Marvel person because like that. This is a blah blah blah. I'm like, I also got really annoyed.
I wish I was capable enough to actually care about Scarlet Witch appearing in that film.
I think people like think she's some like queen, like, you know, we have the
she's a very, I mean,
female empowering.
Exactly.
Like it's like, ooh, go queen. Like that's her. She doesn't want it, I'm sure, but she has been the embodiment of like female empowerment because she's supposed, like, all women want her and like need her to be the strongest Avenger and Marvel person in the universe. And even after this movie comes out, which I won't spoil anything, I almost did, but they still are like, oh, this just cements the fact that she is the strongest Avenger. She's the strongest person in
really?
all of Marvel. Yes.
What I've seen is people that are severely upset where they're like, this completely ruins WandaVision.
Yes. There's that side where like people are saying that it ruins like her character as like her arc, and she's doing uncharacteristic things in this movie. But then when it comes to her power level,
when you don't have a direction or a director,
I
and
know.
weird things happen.
Well, they have a director.
Weird.
He just made a solo movie. He didn't give a shit about anything else.
That's what I was saying.
But like they think that a lot of people think that they kind of ruined her like character arc.
Yeah.
But then they also are like, but she's like, this just proves she is the strongest person in the Marvel universe.
Guess what? No one cares.
Like those are all those were the worst arguments during the comic book days. They are the worst arguments during these movies.
It was the same thing when Captain Marvel came out. Like everything had to be about she's the strongest, she's the best, and like, and it's at least oh crap, the actress's name.
Elizabeth Olsen.
At least Elizabeth Olsen is a likable actress, and Brie Larson isn't. So at least I'll take the Scarlet Witch is the best and stop
just
the
so we're
Captain
clear, like,
Marvel talk.
this talk of about not really liking the talk about how powerful Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel is. Like, it is not unique to Marvel and these two characters.
For sure.
Because we get the exact same stuff when it comes to Superman
and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is all the time. Who's stronger, Anakin or Obi-Wan? Because Anakin.
I feel like that's a different matter though, because that's based on skill and not just, I have all the power in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, the same thing happens in DC.
We just almost went into another argument right there. It just almost happened. Yeah, it's everywhere.
This is what happens when Austin. It's Austin's first time on the podcast. He just wants to get into all the fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Do you guys have too much more you want to talk about before we get into actual spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can do our recommendations. That's usually what we do before we go to spoilers. So you just have to say if you recommend watching Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which I feel like this is going to be pretty obvious for everyone that's sitting in the circle. So, but yeah, do you recommend it, Trevor?
Maybe you're a Marvel fan. Absolutely. I think if you went and saw this on its own, I think you'd be a little confused. There's some lingo that gets thrown around that is kind of hard to catch up on. But yeah, I enjoy my time. I recommend it.
I'd recommend it if you are a Marvel fan who likes Marvel films, because you can go and watch it and have fun. Yeah. If you don't put too much thought into it, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the same. Although if you're pretty much everyone's a Marvel fan because obviously they make all the fucking money in theater now. But if you want to watch a better movie, just go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a better multiverse movie, 100%. There's so much more depth to it. It has better action. It has better scenes. It has better dialogue. It has better comedy, even though that's what Marvel tries to cement themselves on. Although it's not a horror. But, I mean, I don't think this is a horror either. I think it just has scary moments. Yeah. But Marvel as a whole is too bright to be a horror movie. So, but, I mean, as much as I'm crapping on it, I'm crapping on it because of all of the high praise, and it doesn't deserve that much. It was still decent. Yeah. I was thinking throughout the movie, though, this is not, that good.
That was a 3-star film, and people are treating it like a 5-star.
Yes, that's the problem. Austin kind of showed his cards there on his ratings.
I was going to say.
It's all good.
We do ratings at the end, my man.
Oh, well,
it's all good.
We're talking recommendations or ratings?
I don't know. But yeah, so we're going to take a short little break, quote unquote, and then we are going to get back with the spoiler part of the review. All right, and we are back.
We're back
after that short little break. So now we're getting into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, you probably aren't listening anyways because everyone's watched this movie apparently. But we're getting into spoilers, so we can talk about all of the stuff that happened in this movie and give me your thoughts, all the good and the bad of the story. Go for it. What is the first thing you guys want to talk about?
Story's real thin. Get the book.
You don't get much
Wrong
more
book.
You don't get much more complicated and thin at the same time.
Yeah.
You want to move that whole stand closer to you? No, the whole stand. You can push you can push that arm down so it'll reach out farther to you.
There we go.
Yeah, like that.
I'll let you go. I can hear you now.
Yeah, the story, the multiverse part of it is just, I don't think it's that good.
No, it's not. And they only go to 3 places.
I mean, seriously, the multiverse of madness, and you only go to, technically you went to 1 million of them in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But you only really went to 3 of them. Maybe you could even say 2.5.
Yeah, right. 2.5 is a good number.
And I think it's really funny that they hint at a bunch of different crazy universes.
Yeah.
And they go to ones that are just off tangents of each other.
And
yeah,
I don't know if you two have thought of this, but I thought of it immediately as soon as I saw it, and I get that it's a nitpick. During that sequence of them going through all the different universes, they had a spot where they are in a comic book style.
Yeah.
Can you already tell where I'm going with this? And the huge missed opportunity to at least have a little shout out to the Spider-Verse. Boom, it was right there. It was right there
in front of you. Or just legitimately just have a world where they're in a comic book style, which is cool.
No. You can't give me
Has to be
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man.
You can't give me Spider-Verse. I don't even care. Like, just have him like swing through and have them like in the main style of Miles.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you are already going through the trouble of making a comic book style, and also the style they went with way fucking worse than what they are than the Spider-Verse style.
I think Sony owns that art, like that animation style, and Sony and MCU's relationship is like so on and off again.
It's weird.
For me, Sarah was actually telling me, I don't remember what specifically it was, but to me, that's no excuse. Disney and Marvel have all the money in the world. You tell me they couldn't afford to splurge a little bit for a 2-second animation?
I mean, I'm sure they could, but like,
They have so much money. They
Sony
can do
still
it.
has to say yes. But
I feel like
that would've been
if
cool.
I was Sony, I would hop at any chance to connect, like further connect my films to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like,
they're just dumb.
Yeah. But I get it.
We
It's
just
just a gripe.
saw with Morbius, Sony doesn't really know what the fuck they're doing.
I
so.
guess it's true.
Well, and I mean, once they do get out of it, yeah, the weirdest thing they go to is what they mention, and they're like, "Were we paint in one of those things?" Yeah, it's really hard to get out of. That's the weirdest you could have
Like, I
come
mean,
up with.
you
That's-
kind of got out of it, so
Yeah,
it wasn't that hard.
You couldn't like make it to where you guys are like, you couldn't have gone like full Rick and Morty and been like Inside Out or something like.
And honestly,
that.
I think one of my least favorite like overall parts of this movie was America. Unfortunately, I thought
agree.
I thought her character was okay.
Yeah,
and then, like, it was not the actress's fault, but that is like the epitome of stereotypical comic book character. Oh yeah, I was just born with a power equal to a god.
Yeah, right.
And then, oops,
they drove the whole entire movie. Like, okay, I go to this different universe. I can go talk to my other self to help me, which is a trope that I hated so much throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But then, like, I'm the only one out of any multiverse, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because then that means that she's like you said, she's godlike. She's she's uber special for some reason that is just not explained.
Well, that
or
also just fucks up the multiverse. The whole point of the multiverse is that I think they fucked up how to deal with a multiverse in general throughout the whole entire movie.
Sure.
Because the fact that she isn't in him the whole time, like,
yeah,
I guess it's supposed to be she's a character that can travel between them, so that like you can't have an infinite amount of them, but also like that's what the multiverse is.
Right.
If it was born in one universe, it would be born in another one.
Yeah.
And then
yes.
well, one of them the multiverse is fucking up.
Really
I can't-
got a 404
It's-
file not found
Yeah,
going on there.
for real.
I feel like the way they handle the multiverse in this movie, like, it's extra bad because it kind of, like, to me, it just makes it way more confusing since they've already kind of done this with Endgame and like the time travel. Like,
Right.
wasn't that supposed to be part of like multiverse stuff? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, a
that's
little
like
bit.
like they completely changed like how the multiverse specifically works.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I didn't feel like it really needed to be like expanded or made more complicated with all these different ways.
They literally just fucked up what the multiverse is, because in the movie he's trying to prove to his other self that he's like that he is Doctor Strange, and he does it by saying a very specific thing that happened, which could have just happened in his universe. That his brother died in ice, and he tried to like that. The whole point of a multiverse is that a billion different things are happening all at once.
Yeah, there was
How the
no
fuck
there was
do you
no
know?
there was no way of knowing that Doctor Strange's sibling died in the ice. There was no way. How could you possibly know?
So that fucks up what the multiverse, like, that's a pivotal part of what the multiverse means, is that there are a bazillion different actions that can be done all at once, and every single one of them creates a different universe. That's what the multiverse is, and they fucked it up in one line. Like, they just don't, like, they have no.
I'm like already getting heated now that I'm actually like specifically remembering the details.
Yes,
of this
if
film.
you think about the movie, it's not that good. That's the problem. Is that people don't fucking think when they go to a movie theater, probably because they can't think, and that's why they go to Marvel movies and only Marvel movies. I'm sorry if that's you, but if you're listening to this, you're probably listening or watching other movies. But that's the problem, is that they just go and they just consume without thought, and it looks pretty, like Rise of Skywalker, just looks pretty, and then they love it. But think about it, more than 2 seconds, so much of the stuff just falls apart.
Well, let me try to calm this down a little bit. So, like, yeah, I think that is the problem. But I think that also that because this is their movie, yeah, we have like preconceived notions of how multiverses work in other movies that we've seen or media or whatever, or just like science. But they still have the right to do what they want, even if it is stupid, like it is here.
I mean, they have the right to do it. It doesn't mean it's good.
Well, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying that, like, if that's the direction that they chose to go,
I get your point.
That's just what it is.
I mean, I have the right to stab myself in the knee right here.
Well, I hope you don't do that. Don't get blood over this nice couch.
Yeah,
I like this is a good napping couch.
Yeah, you're just saying that, like, as a movie maker, you don't have to go by like they can decide to make their own version of a multiverse.
Decisions, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's literally just like, I get that concept and like how it's different from how Everything Everywhere All at Once is different. But this is in a specific storyline that has already established to some degree how the multiverse kind of works. Because they were able to access the multiverse through science previously. Mm-hmm. But now it's just like magic and just this kid can do it.
Yeah. That's right.
And the way the kid does it. Also, the reason I even want to keep going on this is to try to stay focused on the girl so we're a little more organized.
Sure.
I didn't understand the concept of her not being able to control her powers.
And then just literally, like, automatically being able to at the end.
That was one thing. But even before that, there were 2 specific instances where she could clearly somehow control her power. Like, she wasn't even on screen for like 5 minutes, and she was able to stomp on that rock and use part of her power. Even though I don't understand how that power has anything to do with...
I think she just jumped. I didn't...
No, it had like a little thing where...
A little spark?
Yeah, like it had like the little star.
Gotcha.
And it showed her doing it. Like, she intentionally did that. And it was pretty clear that she wouldn't have been able to just do that normally. So she had some expectation. And then she broke the glass in that scene where she was in the cage and she broke out.
Yeah.
That was not accident. That was not accidental. You can't tell me she expected to break that with her bare fist just for the hell of it. Yeah, I get that she was maybe desperate, but there's a difference between desperate and just stupid.
The whole point was that she was like, she couldn't harness or could control when she used her power, but it always came out when she was like in a life or death situation. So like an adrenaline rush, like when her...
To me, that made sense when she was doing the time warps, but she was saying she couldn't control her power. Like, she didn't have any idea how it worked. And those 2 scenes, like, yeah, she was in danger, but those 2 situations were drastically different.
Yeah,
from when she would.
I think it breaks the. Yeah, I do think it goes outside the realm of like what the movie told us, but it's still like within the sphere. It's on the outer edge, but it's still like there. It's just very loose, and they decided to put it in there to like, for story reasons, they needed to get her out and they needed to be tense, and like they wanted her to grow as a character, so they made her do these things.
Yeah,
but it does go out. It directly contradicts what they told us about the character.
Right.
Yes.
The stuff that... So speaking of that, or not, stuff that we hate, Marvel is really good at 2 things. One of the things is paying people a lot of money to play a part and then make it seem like they're doing it because they love the franchise or they're doing it because they love the fans. Yeah. The other thing that they're really good at is giving the fans some satisfaction without actually making it canonical choices. I bet you right now on May, whatever day it is on a Sunday, I bet you $10 John Krasinski is not Reed Richards in the MCU.
There's no way. It's not happening.
I guarantee you that.
And I'm so upset about it.
That's it. Yep.
It was I am willing to admit that I was pretty dumb about that whole thing. I should have known better that he was not going to be there long term, just because it was this specific movie. But I upset Sarah after the movie ended because of that scene. Because
that whole world, that whole universe with the Illuminati, dumb as fuck.
It should have been. They should have been this like all controlling.
It could have been dope.
Because that's what it is in the comics. It's this all controlling multiversal organization, and in this they get taken out by Wanda. Of all the people,
in 5 minutes,
exactly. To be fair, though, Mr. Fantastic didn't even stretch. He stretches for like a second.
And
like he
and then
literally like
all
shows
along-
up stretching, like he stretches when he shows up, and then boom, he's done.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
that's kind of my problem with Scarlet Witch in general. Is her powers are wildly inconsistent. They decide when they want Wanda or Scarlet Witch to be the most powerful being in the world that can literally just do whatever she wants whenever she wants. She can seal your mouth shut to make you blow your brains out. And she can turn your
that
whole
was
entire
sick.
body. She can turn her whole entire body into string cheese and you die.
Yeah.
But then she can't kill someone that's right in front of her. She has to use these like blast things.
Right.
Yeah, like
there's
what-
no
like,
consistency.
There's no consistency
Yeah.
on like what
Why-
makes her struggle.
Why
Right.
would you use these like blast balls that just do a little bit of like scorch on your body when she could just look at you and turn you into string cheese? Doctor Strange would have been dead in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But instead we need some like conflict, and you're too dumb of a fucking director to do something smart, and so you just make her murder everyone in this universe. Wow. Sorry. I hated that scene.
Yeah.
It was my least favorite scene because you created something cool. Not great, but cool, and you fucked it up royally really fast.
Yeah, and
really fast.
because
Well, this is actually this whole scene. I think this is the Marvel thing. Sorry, I think that this was Marvel telling the director and saying, we need to have the Illuminati in this. We need to have these cameos show up. The cameo stuff that everybody loves. Which, by the way, the order of like biggest applause went huge cheers in my theater for Peggy Carter. And then and then a little bit less for John Krasinski, and then like 2 people clapped for Professor X.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Everyone loves
everyone
Peggy.
loves Agent or Captain Britain or whatever.
I don't get it.
I can at least say that when I went to see it, it was like what I would consider the appropriate order, where like John Krasinski got the second most, and then once they showed Professor X, like okay, he was the like everybody was excited.
Okay,
but the reason, like I was saying that I piss Sarah off so much when I watch these kind of movies, because if I have a problem with something, like I can't get over it like immediately. And she was not happy when I was very upset with how they handled John Krasinski and all those characters.
Yeah.
Because she was like, "Oh, why can't you just enjoy it while it's there?" But it's like, I love these people, and I want them here more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I want John Krasinski to just be Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He was perfect for it. He fits the role awesomely, and they just throw him away like garbage.
And that's why I think that's a Marvel thing that happened, was because I think they said, we're going to have these guys in here, but Mr. Director, they can't stay.
But
they all have to go.
But it doesn't. You don't have to kill them. You don't have to kill them.
I agree. I don't think
especially
you have to,
those
but
specific
because
characters.
they're in a multiverse. Like they're not coming back to this universe. They don't. They literally. He decided, or they did. It definitely could be Marvel. I am not washing Marvel's hands because they shit on a lot of their own.
They've done
products.
this in the past.
Yeah.
But
we've been burned before.
Yeah. So I'm not going to wash our hands, but like you didn't have to murder them all, and
No,
he
I
decided
agree.
to do it.
Yeah.
You could have had him like trap them in a different reality so they couldn't get out, and like all of the fucking talk that they had towards Doctor Strange on how they're not like. You can't do that. This Illuminati, this Avengers would have got wiped by Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
Wiped. Not even a shot in the dark. They would have got demolished. Scarlet Witch got mopped by Thanos.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Witch just walked through all of them. There's no way they defeat Thanos in the first place.
Yeah.
So the inconsistencies of every single character is just baffling.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't say this is a good movie at all, because they don't fucking think for anything. They never think.
For that specific one, I'm just doing this out of sense of me trying to remain fair.
I can't remain fair.
The Scarlet Witch that was fighting them is a drastically different Scarlet Witch that fought Thanos, because she has that stupid book. Like, admittedly, I did not like the book, but that book is like supposed to be like what makes her Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
Like that's what makes her a whole new level compared to what level we saw against Thanos.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's hard to say that they would get mopped by Thanos just because they got destroyed by Scarlet Witch. There's a very good chance that if she had those powers against Thanos, he would have just been obliterated.
He would have been turned into
So
string
that
cheese.
specific one.
But also, then why wouldn't she have got the book then?
I thought she didn't know she didn't know about the book until WandaVision.
Yeah, what's her head?
Like she didn't even know anything about her
Agatha has
powers.
the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something I did like. I really enjoyed Zombie Strange.
I liked
Most
it
people
until
did. The wink.
I did. Yeah, the wink was stupid.
To me, the dumbest part about it was when he's like being burnt. This is what I was telling you about before the podcast about how it gave me like Morbius vibes in terms of the acting.
Yeah.
Literally, Doctor Strange is just here having a seizure from being burnt. Like, since when does being burnt give you like an electric, like you're being electrocuted?
Like, I know. But I think the reason I liked it was because it was the most comic booky thing I've seen in a Marvel movie in a long time. It with like the demon things that came out, and they were like, you can't possess a corpse. Like, this is against the rules of nature, and we have to like drive. Like that's a very comic book, super like this is DC, but very like Constantine type thing.
I liked Zombie Doctor. I did not like the Souls of the Damned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought that was a little over the top.
I feel like
they wanted to make the movie horror, and so they added that to make it horror.
I liked it.
I didn't really like the way they handled the visuals of it. Like, I thought it was a little too much.
Yeah.
Maybe a little basic.
At least when it was showing like Doctor Strange's zombie form fighting them, I thought it was like too messy. And I didn't like how, like, Doctor Strange said that the scientist chick, what was her name, Christina? I have another thing to say about that later. But he said, "Hey, protect me."
Yeah. What is she gonna do?
First, from her perspective, from what? I don't even know what you're really doing specifically. And also, it was like purely coincidental that she just happened to stumble across an item that like specifically helps her fight.
Right?
These
Yeah,
things.
the little
whatever that
thing.
was.
Welcome to Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just movies though in general. I can't say
Deus
much.
Ex
Star Wars
Machina.
does the same shit.
Yep.
But see, when Star Wars does it, we give them a lot of shit for it. Like that's the level of like the knife key thing or whatever that was.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's that level for me.
Well, what I was saying is like the whole they go to the one planet that Luke is on that goes up to the thing that has his father, and the person they're saving is his sister. Like very coincidental on a whole entire universe.
Yeah.
That this is where it happens. But also like that's a tight
Easton,
story. But
I was gonna say like
the Force guided them together. It brought them back.
But I feel like
that's
Star Wars
interpretation of the Force. But
I feel like those films get more benefit though because those are the first 3 films of the entire galaxy. They should get a little bit more benefit because they're starting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're literally talking about like what was it, the 33rd something film in this universe.
I was just making a little bit of a joke there. I'm sorry.
Sure.
But to transition about Christina, Sarah said that it was pretty clear to her. Maybe I'm the only one who completely forgot that Christina even existed. Prior to this film,
remember at all.
Like, I know that she was in the Doctor Strange film, but think about how many films has Doctor Strange been in where it's not even mentioned.
Not mentioned once.
Not a single time. Like even Thor at least said in like whatever film it was, like, oh yeah, this girl, she's busy.
Natalie Portman and I don't talk no mo.
Like seriously, that's literally what like they at least mentioned why she's not here. But with Doctor Strange, I had no idea who this woman was when this film started. I was like, and then she's like the main issue for him.
That's what made me mad was the inconsistency of we've seen him in all this work before, and he never has this hang up about not being with the person he loves, and then now.
Here's the problem I think with it, because Doctor Strange is one of my top like 5 or 10.
Oh. Wait, the person or the movie?
The movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I remembered her, and I mean, every time I think of Doctor Strange, she is also who I think of. But the problem is now Doctor Strange, that character, has been in like 8 of the Marvel movies, with only one of them being his solo film where she was involved. So yes, I think it's a totally valid thing to like, and she doesn't act, I didn't think that she looked the same either.
I didn't recognize her at all, but also I only saw Doctor Strange like when it came out, and I haven't seen it.
Oh, you know what? She's also in What If. That might also, so there was still fairly fresh, because not to get, I don't know if you guys plan on watching it, but she plays a fairly big part in one, and the best. I think it's the best one of that series, but she plays a fairly big part in it. So anytime Doctor Strange is on, and also I was so hoping for Superior Strange in this, and we didn't get him. It bummed me out.
Does this movie kind of so you've seen What If? Does it kind of shit on the whole entire theory of What If?
It's a little. They should have gone harder because What If is a good multiverse story in terms of like all the different things and how it comes together in the end. That because of how good that is, not that it's good. I would mean it's fine. Because of how good that is, this should have been better in terms of the multiverse stuff.
So is What If a multiverse movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's
it is
a multiverse series. Yeah.
I thought it was just like a legitimate What If, like
non-canon.
Non-canon.
No, it is. As far as I'm aware, it is canon.
Wow.
Because that's the idea. Well, that's the whole idea of the multiverse. Is what if there was a thing out there where there was a zombie virus? But then, at the end of this, they all do cross. They all come together.
In other words, they go back and they fuck up their multiverse even more because the multiverse is where like different things have happened because people make different choices and different things happen, which is what the multiverse is.
Mm-hmm.
But then in this movie, every multiverse is practically the same with small changes between each one. So like,
And this reminds me of another thing about like how it handles the multiverse, and I'll admit I don't know what I would do if I was a director of a film dealing with multiverse, but the way they introduce like the multiverse when they first show up by the hot or pizza ball stand, whatever, it's always the same crap when it comes to multiverse stuff, and Everything Everywhere All at Once is no different, because whenever you introduce a multiverse thing, the thing that you just have to do is, this weird thing happens because it's the multiverse. Like, we stop on green and go on red.
Yeah.
It's different. Oh my God. I don't understand anything and nothing makes sense anymore.
You know the one line that pissed me off more than any other line in the whole movie?
It's over. You haven't seen that part.
That was good.
Is that the second credits? Okay.
It's Bruce Campbell,
well,
who finally stops hitting himself, and he says it's over, but he's looking at you.
Oh my God, that's so cheesy.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
So it's supposed to be a callback to Evil Dead 2, by the way, if nobody knew that.
Apparently.
No, it's when America, is that her name? America?
Yeah, that's the
character's name.
Fucking weird.
I can't pronounce the actress.
Because also there is an actress
it took
named
me
America.
almost the whole entire movie to realize they weren't talking about the country America when they were saying, look, we need to save America.
Well, when I first heard of the character, like before I even saw the movie, like I thought they were talking about, like, I don't remember her last name, but it was like the actress from like Ugly Betty.
America Ferrera. Yeah,
that's who I thought
that's
they were
what I was thinking too.
about.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't remember America Ferrera being in this movie.
But okay, so the worst line in the movie for me was when America, they go to the different universe, she picks up the pizza balls and they're like, how did you pay for that? And she was like, food is free in almost every other universe. It's actually weird that you have to pay for yours.
I don't know. I actually thought it was pretty funny.
No, I didn't think it was funny because of who the fuck is saying it. Disney.
Oh, wow.
Disney is saying it. The biggest fucking company in the world that charges out the ass, that makes sure that other companies can't play their movies in movie theaters so that they can make the most amount of... Was my ticket free to Doctor Strange? No, it wasn't. It was not free. I had to pay for that shit. And they could have made it free. Was my popcorn free? No, they could have paid for it. They didn't. Okay, so you can't fucking preach to me about how food is free and food should be free, because that's what it's saying. It's saying that food should be free because it's a human right and like people need to eat, so food should be free. But I don't see Disney out here getting free shit ever. No, they actually have the most expensive shit in the history of marketing. I don't know if that's true or not, but they always had the most expensive. Tell me what theme park is the most expensive to go to. It's Disney. Tell me what Disney or what cruise is the most expensive to go to. Disney. Tell me what movies are the most expensive. Disney. They always have the most expensive shit, and they're gonna preach to me about giving free stuff. That is such a backhanded, terrible fucking thing to put in your movie. I absolutely hated it.
The only thing I would counter that with is everything that you listed.
What I said, or okay,
like just so we're clear, I'm not disagreeing. Like I totally agree that Disney's a scumbag company. But everything that you just listed, is like luxury shit. Like that's not food. Obviously, Disney does still charge like $20 for a hot dog at their stupid
theme
parks.
Yeah.
So obviously, like that's true. But I don't give them too much shit for saying something that, like, it's just a political thing. It's just,
that's the point.
If any other movie or director was saying that, I don't think you'd have as big of an issue with it.
And that's the thing. I don't necessarily hate I hate who is delivering the line. It's Disney that's doing it. And Disney has had how many allegations of underpaying and having terrible employee work, and like they are like trying to make themselves lifted up as this great progressive liberal free great company, but they're shit. But they put out these movies that everyone loves, and it makes them feel like they're progressive, but all they care about is getting money in their pockets. That's why they don't do risks for their movies, because they don't want to risk their cash. They can put out mediocrity and make $1 billion in a week. Why would you risk it? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so it's 100%. If it was an indie, if it was multiverse or not multiverse madness,
if it was Pig,
if it was everything, Pig, everything everywhere all at once. If they had that line, like I would have not liked it. Like I would not have disliked it because of who it was coming from.
So I guess we just need to clarify that it's not really necessarily the line. It's just the fact that it's Disney that's saying.
Yeah, I don't like Disney preaching to me about how our society should be when they're like the main contributor of why prices
everything fucking sucks.
Yeah, they are a reason, not the sole reason. I'm not saying that, but they are a $1 trillion company that just wants to make more money, and there's only a limited amount of money in the world. So if they're taking all this fucking money, that means other people don't have it. So yeah, I don't like that coming from Disney at all, especially because it's supposed to be pandering to these people and it just makes them love Disney even more, even though they're not practicing anything that they preach. Disney, you want to talk about, sorry, I won't go too political, but you want to talk about somebody being able to end world hunger? Disney can do it pretty fucking easy, okay? And nobody goes after them because they make Marvel movies and they don't want them to stop, but they've got so much fucking... You do not understand how much fucking money Disney has. Yeah. So it's just hypocritical is my problem. It's just really hypocritical.
So to kind of try to balance
that... We can go off of it. I was just like... I've already seen a lot of things I don't like. That was the worst thing in the movie by far, in my opinion.
But one of the... It might be my favorite part of the movie, and it kind of surprised me. Like, I didn't see it coming and it's a super small, not that significant part. But that chase scene where Wanda is chasing them through that tunnel.
Yeah.
Those doors are stupid.
Yeah.
It made no sense why that last door had any issues with her.
Right.
But
no, she didn't have an issue. She just didn't want to blow right through it to confuse them.
She could have just blown it up. They were just standing there. Also, but anyways, don't. I'm trying to make this a positive.
I'm sorry.
Positive.
Yes.
The actual camera work and all the stuff, like that scene of her chasing them, that was the closest thing to horror that movie ever got, and it was wild to me how they made her look like a monster when she was going down that tunnel compared to all the other stuff anyways.
Yeah.
And it doesn't counterbalance all the other bad stuff that I didn't like, but that specific thing, it's okay, yeah, that is a really good job. The whole thing just came together for that specific spot.
Yeah, man. That and all the camera tilts we had where the camera was askew, I really enjoyed. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, when she snaps Professor Xavier's neck, she looks real demonic in that. That was I enjoyed that.
But I also hated that scene because Professor Xavier should have been able to just leave the brain, just leave.
Yeah, right.
Last time I checked, that is kind of just how his power works is he can just come and go in people's minds, except you can't enter at just anybody's mind, but once he's there, he can leave.
Yeah. I do say there's a cameo in this that I did enjoy. So there's the Iron Legion suits in this from Iron Man 2 or 3 or Adventures Age of Ultron. But they're Ultron bots.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I thought it was very strange that they didn't bring them up.
Yeah,
but I guess it also made more sense because to them it's just normal.
Yeah, and I thought that was that's how you do that kind of stuff. You show us not have the stupid lights be red or green, but have a universe where Ultron worked and where it's a thing.
I liked that. However, the only reason why they did that was because they didn't want her to have blood everywhere.
Right.
So instead it was machine oil.
Yeah.
Which was that's so fucking pussy shit.
But
from
see, like
Disney.
that to me, that didn't even make much sense because they literally cut Agent Carter in half and they showed blood on the shield.
Right.
And also, that is the stuff that I was talking about that like alarmed me was when they had a dude's skull explode.
Yeah.
I don't care if his mask caught the debris. That was horrific.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine watching that as like a 6-year-old who's just a fan of Marvel movies.
It is PG-13 though, so like you shouldn't be 6 watching it.
Dude, come on.
Just saying.
I was thinking the effects of the souls of the damned or whatever. What that was disturbing to me.
Yeah.
Looking in like his eyes and seeing them, and then coming out.
And also, like, aren't pretty much every Marvel movie PG-13? Isn't
think
it like
so.
pretty much all of
Yeah.
them? Yeah. Like, granted, like most of them are for like a curse word that they throw
it's
in.
the language, yeah.
But like, that's the thing is, almost every other Marvel movie in this universe is literally just some bad language and maybe some naughty jokes or something here.
Yeah.
That was just gore. That was covered up gore.
I think most of them are PG-13 just because of action. If you have any like actual action, it's supposed to be PG-13.
And
you
then-
can't have
Intense
real action.
intense action
Yeah,
sequences.
You get out of PG just from that, and so they throw in some curse words because they're already PG-13.
Yeah, might as well.
But that just goes back to my
F-bomb.
point that they need to like rework this system.
Maybe.
If that like if that's on the same level as Iron Man or Captain America or whatever, Or actually, I think Thor is a better example.
Yeah.
Considering the other two have terrorist groups and Nazis.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah, I have. I thought I had 3 things I was going to say that I didn't like about it, and then I was going to do one thing that I did like about it before I stopped. But I said one of them with the Ultron stuff.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like that was the horror aspect, that she had oil all over herself instead of blood. I thought that was a really stupid cop out. I can't remember the other one, but the last one was the sense of urgency in this movie was atrocious.
It was like all out of whack.
Yeah.
He walked like the scene that we were just talking about where Wanda was chasing them. They shut the door and they just stand there and stare at the door.
Like what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting
Yeah,
for?
keep
And then
running.
and then they finally get to the book and he slowly walks up to the book, slowly grabs it,
Yeah.
slowly opens it. And what do you know, the second that he opens it before he gets a chance to read it, Wanda's there and demolishes the book. Well, I mean, you may have actually got to read a couple pages if you didn't fucking take 2 minutes
Yeah.
to get to it. Like you have to be at least kind of realistic when you're making a movie. You can't have this like, you can't create a scenario where all of your characters are like have to be thinking fast, being fast, and like you can't create a scenario that you're supposed to be have a sense of urgency, and then your characters decide to not have a sense of urgency. It's a contradiction of character and plot, and it's totally took me out of it. I was like, the second they stopped and stared at the door for 30 seconds, I lost it.
And speaking of like that weird lock on the door to the book, I feel like maybe I feel like I had to have missed something during the film that would have explained this away. But wasn't that door made by Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't the Doctor Strange who made that door the one who was so fucked up in the head that they had to kill him?
Yeah.
And they trusted him to lock the book away so that only he could access the book?
I think he's the only one that can like use the book because he's a sorcerer. The other ones couldn't use the book.
But they were perfectly fine with that just being the situation.
It's also a problem I have with kind of the whole entire good book, bad book. Like it's a good book, so we can't do bad with it because it's a strictly good book. The other book is a strictly bad book, so it's kind of like this basic like kindergarten level
witches
of like
suck.
stuff. Yeah, it was a very kindergarten level of like good versus bad. There's a ultra good book. There's an ultra bad book. You shouldn't read the ultra bad book. And if somebody reads the ultra bad book, go get the ultra good book. Like it's just stupid. Like
this reminds me. This might actually be my favorite scene because I actually laughed out loud in the theater when they said it. It was like, this isn't sorcery. This is witchcraft.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my God. They actually went there and said that sorcery is not just witchcraft.
That's funny.
Like the gall. Like I'm sure that if you really was like, oh yeah, it's sorcery, you move your hands this way. In witchcraft, you stab a frog or something. That's what makes it different. Come on, there's no reason to make it different. It's also witchcraft. I hate everything about the witchcraft in this thing. Everything about Scarlet Witch, I basically hate, and we haven't even really gotten to that specifically. How I despise what they did with Scarlet Witch's character.
Well, I think we can probably talk about that and then wrap it up. So I was going to say the one thing I liked. I did like the mother, like Scarlet Witch mom scenes, like of her wanting to be a mom and like her drive to do that.
Yeah, except
I'm okay
she's
with
like
the concept
murdering
of it.
hundreds of people and then like, but I'm a good person. I'm
No,
a mother.
I didn't say I loved all of it. I'm saying the scenes that we got were like she was trying to like she just wanted to be with her kids and she got to her kids and she had some like loving, touching moments and like I understood that and I liked that part of it. I think it went like way too far to an extreme, of course, but like
honestly, I thought all the scenes of her being like, are you talking about specifically the scenes where it's her struggle of trying to become a mother, or the scenes where she's like a mother in like her dreams and stuff?
Where she took over, like she dream walks and she's a mom, and then like where Star opens up that gate.
Oh, okay.
And like she's like, she's realizing like what it like that she can't just fake being a like somewhat like. Because that's not their mom, like that kind of stuff. Because I do like Wanda Vision, and I like that struggle of like, you know that there was a better life for you, and it didn't happen for you, and you want to create that reality, and she has the power to do it. So I like that to a point, and I think Wanda Vision was kind of the point where I liked it, and they went to another extreme past that.
And that's kind of
what she turned into a murderous rampage person, and I like yes, off of the show. She basically, like, when the show ended, it was basically, I'm not, like, I would never hurt someone.
Like, I didn't want this. I didn't mean to, like, or it's, not, like, she says, I don't want this one during the movie, but, like, she didn't intend to do all this harm in WandaVision. But also, just specifically about the mother scenes, I thought the scenes of her actually, like, with the kids, cringiest shit ever. Oh. Like, are you kidding me? That was the dumbest crap I've ever seen in a Marvel movie, and that's saying a lot. In terms of like just oh my god, it was excusable when they did that shit in WandaVision because that was like the point of it. It's supposed to be like a old sitcom and cheesy stuff, but it's because I liked WandaVision to some extent that it made no sense to me that she would go completely off the deep end from that to this movie. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's the book that corrupted her and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I think that's fair.
It's fine if the book corrupted her, but show me that. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you're telling me instead of showing me.
Trees.
Oh boy, the trees. It's like honestly, and that's the thing. It's like the trees make it worse because that's them ripping the curtain away. It's like, oh yeah, she sucks now. She had no idea what she was doing. And again, like I'm fine if she was in over her head and was corrupted, but there had to have been some way that they could have introduced it, or if anything, maybe have her be corrupted throughout the movie. In a way that's like just flows more nice. Like maybe she starts off like kind of okay, and then she gets worse and worse.
It's kind of like they did the opposite of that. You start her off corrupt and like you don't know why. Like you see the book, like but boom, she's corrupt. And instead of like showing you how you got there, you just see how she gets off of being corrupt. Because by the end of the movie, she's back to being a good person. Mm-hmm. So like instead of seeing the rise and fall of her corruption, you just see like her corrupt, and then like. They like show you the other side of it, of her like being the good person again.
I could go on for like easily another like 2 hours about the things that I did not like about Scarlet Witch. But one of the things that I would probably end with is, and this is something that it's with like a lot of movies, and it's not even just Marvel movies. I hate this trope where the main villain who has like this tragic backstory where it's like, oh, you can kind of see like where they're going, even if they take it too far to the extreme. And then they get to the end of the movie, the villain finds out that they're wrong and that they've been the bad guy and it's not justified. And as soon as they learn their lesson, they die. And to me, like, even if they do something good when they die, it doesn't really like save their character for me because then they die. They don't get to develop past that revelation.
Yeah.
Because, like, when Wanda realizes, oh, yeah, this was the dumbest fucking plan ever. This was never going to work. And had the mentality of a 5-year-old. I'm just going to kill myself now. Thanks. I'm just going to commit suicide.
And she could have destroyed that structure without dying.
Yeah, there was no need for her to die in that. I get that she was, in sorrow and from realizing that she'll never have those kids. But again, it's a trope. They didn't have to do it that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just I tricked myself into thinking it'll be different with every movie I watch.
Last thoughts?
I don't know if I have any last thoughts for like Wanda Scarlet Witch stuff.
Just in general, just last thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just we're talking about all this stuff that like I didn't like, and I like you were talking about Scarlet Witch just then. I'm like, oh yeah, that's when the zombie strange is on the ground. Like the stuff I liked about this movie, I very much liked, and like that's what I think I am viewing this a little bit with rose-colored glasses. I think a little bit because the stuff I liked, I really liked, and so that's just what it is, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just heated right now. Like if I really like calmed down and went and saw it again, like it's still okay. Like it's still not the good stuff that I found entertaining still counterbalances some of the bad stuff enough.
Yeah. There were things that I liked about the movie and I enjoyed watching it. It was just there was also a lot of stuff that just really irked me.
From a critical perspective, it just falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
But from an entertainment perspective, it's okay.
Yeah.
All movies can be both.
Yeah, and all Marvel movies are going to excel at entertainment.
Yeah.
That's their sole purpose.
They had a couple good ones early on. Winter Soldier is a good espionage movie. Iron Man's a good, kind of solid comic book movie.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're going to about wrap it up.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, we're not going to do a full ranking of all of our...
Oh, it's fine.
But you can tell me your top 5 if you want.
Okay.
And maybe you can tell me your least favorite.
Okay.
And then you can tell me what you rank, or not what you rank, but like your rating for this movie.
Mine is because I kind of think of it as we go. Mine is if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, did you pull it up for me? What do I got there?
Infinity War.
Yeah, so it'd be Infinity War, Endgame, Shang-Chi. I think Multiverse of Madness would probably knock Ragnarok out of that spot. And then have Doctor Strange be after that. I think that's what my top 5 would be. What do we got at the bottom there?
Thor 2, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that tracks.
That's about right.
Yeah, I give Multiverse a 3.
Do you need to see a list to do it?
If it's just top 5, I'd say top 5 is probably Endgame, Infinity War, then No Way Home. Whatever, I get it. Which other ones?
My list is so fucking different than y'all's.
That's 3. I guess Shang-Chi and then Black Panther.
Okay.
Actually, I had switched Black Panther with Shang-Chi.
Okay.
I love the vibe of Black Panther so much.
The music in that is
it's so good.
Kendrick Lamar, baby.
Yeah.
And then bottom?
Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Because at least with the Thor and Iron Man, it's Thor and Iron Man, so I can just like ignore everything else.
Right.
It's like, it's Robert Downey Jr., man.
Yeah. For me, I think Infinity War, maybe. I don't know. I toss up between Endgame and Infinity War.
Honestly, I would like merge them together into like one thing.
Actually, never mind. That's not even my number 1. What am I talking about? I'm just looking at your list. My number 1 is Civil War. It always has been. Number 2 is probably the original Avengers, and then probably Winter Soldier, and then Infinity War or whatever, and then the original Iron Man. So really nothing in the current.
Honestly, I completely forgot about Civil War. I'd probably put that instead of Infinity War.
I like it. The problem I have with Infinity War is it's a great fucking movie. However,
if you've seen the previous 25.
Yes, that is very true. But the ending has no weight at all. Like it tries so hard to be emotional and have weight, but watching it in theaters, I was like, I know this isn't sticking.
I like to pretend that it just ends there, and that's why I like to watch them separate.
do that because it's
That's
not.
okay.
It's not. That's not real. Like I knew watching it back in 2017 or whenever it came out, I was like, oh, cool. None of this is
how
sticking.
are they going to get him back? Yeah.
Like they're going to overchange this because they just introduced Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't kill,
and then you get rid of him.
if they didn't kill Tom Holland, I might have believed you. Maybe, probably not, but maybe. But the fact that they killed Tom Holland, Spider-Man, just so they could get their heart-filled moment between Tony Stark and Spider-Man, like that's where you fucked yourself right there. That because I couldn't believe it. I knew that wasn't sticking.
And I'm pretty sure like it was either just before or just after Infinity War came out. They had confirmed
that
a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, yeah, and all the like
Spider-Man trilogy
and all the dust and stuff. All the people that turned to dust, it like lined up with whose contracts were ending and like who had movies on the way and stuff like that. Because Doctor Strange got dusted too, but Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be happening.
Yeah. So like I just knew it wasn't sticking. So like it lost all of its weight in my opinion.
I don't
as
understand.
dope as it was. Like it had emotional weight to it that wasn't actually there, and so that's why it's not as high up as most people say. It's the greatest Marvel movie of all time.
Like
I think the original Avengers had more fucking weight to it than Infinity War.
I don't understand how there were people, and this is still off the topic. I'm sorry. I don't understand how there were people that at the end of Infinity War literally thought that was it.
Yeah,
and we're like, where is it going to go from here? Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, right.
That thought process.
Well, it's like you said though. There's people that go to just Marvel movies, and that's all they go to. And so for them, that would have been like the end.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. But
which would have been a dope end, but no. Like I said many times,
they had to make Endgame. Dang
Disney's a bunch of pussies, so they wouldn't have ended it there. So ratings on Multiverse Madness.
3 out of 5.
That is not where I thought that was going after all the praise.
I'd say more. I have to bring it down to like a 2.5. I found too many flaws to keep it at just 3.
You guys brought my ranking down also, so.
Okay. I was about to say, I was like, you really came out at like hot. Like after the movie theater, he was texting us saying, this was awesome. I love it. Like,
I believe I said I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. Yeah. But I think this is about a 3 because maybe 2.5. But yeah, it's right there. It's not. It's mid. I'm sorry. Marvel only makes mid movies. They only make mediocre. They will not do anything outside of that, and it'll never change unless Disney starts to crumble and they decide that they have to try something. Like until they financially have to make a risk, they won't. So they will continue to make average movies until they die. So, but it's fine. It's still entertaining. I'm not going to say that it's not entertaining. So, thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week with some random movie. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the docket, but I know there are some great movies coming out. Men is coming out in a couple weeks, and so is Top Gun Maverick in 3 weeks, I think. Whatever, 2-3 weeks, whatever. It's just next week that I don't know what's coming out. But stay tuned for whatever's coming out. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys love this movie, I'm sorry we shat on it so much, but I hope you guys liked at least listening to our different perspectives. Of someone that really disliked Marvel and stuff, that somebody found out some issues, and somebody that liked it but understood the issues. And yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week. See you guys.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Don't call me stupid.
Oh, right! To call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people! I've known sheep that could outwit you.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
No, none taken.